During a typhoon, I learned my boyfriend was working late and was soaked to the bone. I told him to come to my place for a shower before heading home, but he replied, "No need, I'm closer to Chloe's rental, I'll just shower at her place." I froze. Looking back, ever since we got together, my boyfriend, Ethan, had prided himself on being the best ex ever. Even after their breakup, he remained incredibly close with his ex, Chloe. He still celebrated her birthday, went on trips with her, and even showered and spent the night at her place. I was done with a love that had no boundaries. "Ethan, we're breaking up." Half an hour after I sent the text, Ethan showed up at my door, drenched from the rain. The moment the fingerprint lock clicked open, I cursed myself. In my haste to break up, I had completely forgotten to delete his fingerprint. The torrential rain had plastered his hair to his head, revealing a smooth, high forehead and a pair of eyes so soulful they could make a dog fall in love. I had to admit, the main reason I had agreed to date him was his movie star good looks, but no matter how handsome a face, once it's shared with another woman, it becomes tainted. Ethan walked over, knelt by the sofa, and took my hand, giving it a little shake. "Come on, Julia, you're going to break up with me just because I took a shower at Chloe's on the way. Alright, don't be mad, I really didn't mean to, it was just on the way. Your place is too far from my office, it would take an hour just to come here, shower, and then go back to sleep. Chloe's place is close to my office, and she has a spare room, so I just went there to shower and rest a bit. I swear, there's nothing going on between me and Chloe." I pulled my hand away, my face cold. "No need to explain, we're breaking up." Ethan was taken aback for a moment, then he laughed. "Are you jealous? Come on, Julia, I've already told you, Chloe and I are in the past. Besides, we had an amicable breakup. There's no need to be so dramatic, we're adults. If we can't be lovers, we can still be friends." I sneered, cutting off his self-righteous explanation. "Do good friends shower together? Just the two of them? Do good friends lie in the same bed playing video games?" "Ethan, sometimes I really feel like I'm the ex you've already broken up with, and Chloe is the girlfriend you're currently in love with." Ethan was silent for a moment, then he patted my head with a fond smile. "Alright, if you don't like it, I'll try not to go to her place anymore. Is that better?" I slapped his hand away. "Ethan, don't you get it? The problem isn't whether you go to her place or not, it's that you and she have absolutely no boundaries." Ethan's smile faded. "Julia, we're adults, can you stop being so childish? Always playing these I'm not your friend anymore games. Do you even know what adult decency is?" "Yes, I broke up with Chloe, but our families have known each other for decades. Our parents live in the same neighborhood. You can't just expect me, and my parents, to cut off all ties with her family just because we broke up." Hearing his indignant defense, I laughed in disbelief. I took out my phone, found the video Chloe had sent me, and shoved it in his face. "Is this what you call adult decency?" Chloe had sent me the video just moments before. My boyfriend, in front of his ex, was showering in a glass-enclosed shower, completely unconcerned. I could hear Chloe's suggestive laughter in the video. "Ethan, if you sleep over tonight, will your girlfriend get mad?" From the sound of it, she was leaning against the door, watching my boyfriend shower right in front of her. They were completely at ease, like a married couple who had been living together for years. Through the glass, Ethan laughed. "She won't. I've told Julia, even though we broke up, we're still the best of friends. We're all adults. She'll understand." I let out a bitter laugh. "Ethan, don't you dare insult the word adult. Normal adults don't go to their ex-girlfriend's house to shower and then spend the night. If you want to get back together with her, just say so. I'll gladly step aside." "Why do you have to be so sneaky, using adult friendship as a shield? You're having your cake and eating it too. You're disgusting." Watching the video play on a loop, Ethan's face went pale. He grabbed my hand, his voice panicked. "Julia, let me explain. I'm just used to being this way with Chloe. I really don't want to get back with her. If you don't believe me, I'll call her over right now and have her explain it to you in person." "No need." I stood up and opened the door. "I said it before. Whether you cut ties with her or continue this ambiguous relationship, it has nothing to do with me. Ethan, we are completely over." He ran a frustrated hand through his hair. "Julia, I know you're angry right now. I'm not going to argue with you. How about this? Let's both cool down for a night. Tomorrow morning, I'll bring Chloe over, and she can explain everything to you herself." With that, before I could say a word, he stood up and left. I sank back onto the sofa, feeling helpless. It was always like this. Whenever we had a problem, he would just run away. I knew he was going to Chloe's. Sure enough, a moment later, I received another video on my phone. In the video, he was sitting at her bar, drinking his sorrows away. The camera panned around, and she was in the frame, a smug look on her face as she said, "Julia, don't be mad. Ethan is just used to coming here. It's a hard habit to break. I just gave him a piece of my mind. He knows he was wrong. It's too late now, so I'll let him stay here tonight. When he sobers up tomorrow, I'll make sure he apologizes to you properly, okay?" At the end of the video, she affectionately touched his earlobe, as if soothing a child. "Ethan, your girlfriend is really mad this time. Maybe you shouldn't stay here tonight. She's right. We broke up. We should keep our distance." He took a large gulp of his drink, his expression impatient. "What distance? I knew her long before I knew Julia. We're adults. Who says you have to cut all ties after a breakup? I told you, even though we broke up, we're still the best of friends. Your girlfriend is just petty and jealous. She'll get over it." A moment later, she sent another photo. In the picture, he was lying on her pink bedsheets, his chest bare. A small, fair hand was holding a wet towel, wiping the spilled alcohol from his chest. Her voice, feigning apology, came through the phone. "Julia, don't misunderstand. He's drunk and forgot we broke up. He just habitually went to my room. Don't worry, I'll get him settled and then sleep in the other room. We're just good friends now. Please don't overthink it, okay?" I let out a bitter laugh and downloaded the photos and videos. This wasn't the first time he had gone to the wrong room, but I was done playing a part in their three-person love story. "Ethan, we're over." I opened my laptop and looked at the invitation from across the ocean in my inbox. I suddenly laughed. Just yesterday, I had been so happy, turning down my mentor's invitation, telling her I was getting married. Everyone thought we were about to tie the knot, waiting for our wedding invitations. I looked at the invitation I had designed myself on the computer, and with a click of the mouse, I deleted it, wiping away my tears. I calculated the time difference. It was just the start of her workday. I opened my phone and made a video call to her. "Julia, calling me so early. Is the wedding date set? Tell me. I promised our master that when you got married, I would be there for you as your family." My father had run an acupuncture and massage clinic. My mentor was one of his many apprentices. Later, she went abroad to start her own business and opened several clinics. When my father passed away, she flew back for more than 10 hours. At his grave, she cried and said that now that he was gone, she would be my family. After Ethan and I got together, she flew back again and, as my family, had dinner with him. And that's when I discovered Chloe's existence. It was supposed to be a dinner for our two families, but Chloe had shown up uninvited. She had brazenly declared that even though she and Ethan had broken up, they would always be the best of friends. Now that her good friend was getting married, it was only natural for her, as a friend, to come and give her approval. Only natural. My mentor and my other senior brothers had all looked displeased, but at the time, I was so enamored with Ethan's gentle and considerate nature that after he swore up and down that he would keep his distance from his ex, I had foolishly forgiven him. After she returned to her country, my mentor didn't say anything more, just sent me an invitation. "Julia, you are our master's only precious daughter. If you're not happy back home, you're always welcome to come to me. My team will always have a place for you." Thinking back now, perhaps my wise mentor had already seen through Ethan and Chloe's relationship, and I was the only one who was still a fool, kept in the dark. Swallowing the bitterness in my throat, I forced a smile and said to my mentor, "There's no wedding anymore. We broke up." She was taken aback for a moment. "Is it because of his ex?" I nodded bitterly and told her everything that had happened last night. She sighed as if she had expected it. I could tell at that dinner, he and his ex were not completely over. "So, what are your plans now?" "I want to join your team. I was just wondering if you still have a suitable position for me." She smiled. "Julia, you're underestimating yourself. Your acupuncture and massage skills are top-notch even back home, let alone abroad. I'll book your ticket right away. I guarantee, within 3 years, with your abilities, you'll be able to manage a branch on your own." After hanging up, my phone soon received the flight information from her. The flight was the day after tomorrow. The next day, I started to take care of my affairs in the country. This house was left to me by my father. I had no intention of selling it, so I found an agent and signed a 5-year rental agreement. I packed up all the gifts Ethan had given me and had a courier pick them up and deliver them to his company. Finally, there were the wedding photos and the wedding videographer, for which I had already paid a deposit. I was going to the shop to see if I could get a partial refund, but when I got to the bridal shop, I saw him standing outside the fitting room in a suit. He was clearly flustered when he saw me. "Julia, what are you doing here?" I smirked. "And you?" what are you doing here? He stammered. Just then, the fitting room door opened. Chloe's cheerful voice came from inside. Ethan, come and see. Is this dress too revealing? I'm not like your wife, with her open style of dress. You can tell she's very experienced in that department. You should be careful. It's one thing to mess around before marriage, but you don't want her to cheat on you after. His face changed. He instinctively rushed to the fitting room door and shielded her behind him. Chloe, stop it. Julia is here. There was a moment of silence from inside. Then Chloe, wearing the dress I had ordered, walked out and stood beside him. Seeing my expression, he instinctively pulled her behind him. Julia, I know you're still mad. And Chloe said her biggest regret was not being able to wear a wedding dress and marry me. So I thought, why not let her try on the dress for you first? Hiding behind him, she gave me a triumphant smirk and deliberately pointed to the neckline of the dress. That's right, Julia. It's a good thing I tried it on for you first. Ethan and I both think this dress is a bit too revealing. You might not know, but his parents are very traditional. They don't like their daughter-in-law to be dressed so openly. I know you have a good figure, but it's your big day. Wouldn't it be better to be a little more modest? Hearing her words, he subconsciously nodded. Julia, she has a point. My parents are very conservative. Maybe you should choose a different dress. I laughed. Why change the dress? Why don't you just change the bride? Wouldn't that be easier? His face darkened. Julia, what are you trying to say? I glanced at him coldly. I'm saying, since your parents like a daughter-in-law like her so much, why don't you two just get married? With that, I took out the deposit receipt and handed it to him. Since you're changing the bride, you can't expect the ex-girlfriend to pay for the wedding photos, can you? His expression changed drastically. Julia, are you serious? She suddenly let out a sob and started pulling at the dress. Ethan, it was my fault for being so foolish. We broke up, but I still wanted to wear a wedding dress and take pictures with you one last time. Please don't fight with her. I'll take off the dress right now and give it back. As the beading on the dress fell to the floor with a clatter, a shop assistant shrieked, "That's our newest custom-made gown, worth $38,000. She froze and instinctively pointed at me. It wasn't me. She's the one who ordered this dress. I was just kindly trying it on for her. With that, she grabbed his arm, crying, Ethan, you know my parents are small business owners. The economy has been bad these past few years. I can't afford to pay them back. He patted her reassuringly and turned to me. Julia, this is mainly your fault. She was kindly trying on the dress for you. If you hadn't suddenly thrown a tantrum, she wouldn't have rushed to take it off and give it back to you, damaging it in the process. How about this? You pay for the dress, and we'll call it even. I scoffed. Ethan, who am I to her? Why should I pay for a dress she damaged? He said impatiently. She only damaged it because she was kindly trying it on for you. Did I ask her to try it on for me? I asked coldly. He paused, then said, exasperated, it was me. I asked her to try it on for you. All right. I turned to the shop assistant. You all heard that, right? Although I did order this dress, your shop, without my permission, lent my custom-made dress to someone else. According to the contract, not only am I not responsible for the damages, but I am also entitled to a full refund of the deposit. At my words, the shop assistant and the manager panicked. They quickly surrounded him and Chloe. He put a protective arm around her and looked at me with a mix of shock and anger. Julia, what are you talking about? We're about to get married. You ordered this dress. I can't even have someone try it on for you. Why didn't you tell me beforehand that you didn't want anyone else to wear it? Now the dress is ruined, and you're making her pay for it. Is this how you're supposed to treat your sister-in-law? I sneered, not backing down. Ethan, you took another woman to try on my custom-made wedding dress. You didn't tell me beforehand either, did you? And, if I remember correctly, you're an only child, right? Where did this sister come from? And she has the nerve to call me sister-in-law. Just then, another shop assistant muttered under her breath, I don't think she's a real sister. More like a sister in a different sense. Shameless, he's about to get married, and he's bringing his mistress to the shop to try on wedding dresses. Seeing the contemptuous looks from the staff, her tears started to fall, big and fast. Julia, I know you're upset about me and Ethan being each other's first love, but I've already explained to you, we're in the past, we're all adults. Do we have to cut all ties after a breakup? We promised each other that even if we broke up, we would still be friends and family for life. You can slander me, you can frame me, but you can't accuse me of being a homewrecker. He held her protectively, his eyes shooting daggers at me. Julia, apologize. Apologize my ass. I grabbed a nearby glass of water, a full glass of green tea, and threw it in his face. Sober now. Do you want me to get the security footage so we can see who shamelessly tried on someone else's custom-made wedding dress, who deliberately damaged a dress worth tens of thousands? His face was ashen, his expression contorted with rage. Julia, this is your last warning. If you keep this up, we're really done. I sneered. We were done a long time ago. Hiding in his arms, she gave a triumphant smile and pretended to be a peacemaker. Julia, calm down. You and Ethan are about to get married. If you break up now, how will he face everyone? Besides, his parents are very traditional. If you make such a big scene, and you really do break up, from what I know of them, they will never let you back into the family. Hearing her words, every sentence a consideration for him, he looked at her with admiration, then turned to me with a look of contempt. Julia, you better think carefully. Besides my family, who else would want to marry an orphan like you? The word orphan hit me like a ton of bricks. My head buzzed. I slapped him hard across the face. The crisp sound of the slap seemed to sober him up. He looked panicked, let go of Chloe, and rushed towards me, trying to grab my hand. Julia, listen to me. That's not what I meant. I'll take care of the dress. Don't be mad. Let's just find a place to talk. Okay, no need. I took 2 steps back and looked at him coldly. Ethan, you disgust me. I insisted that the bridal shop refund my deposit, knowing they were in the wrong. They had no choice but to call the police and demand that he and Chloe pay for the damaged dress. She was crying her eyes out. He had no choice but to take out his bank card. Sorry, Mr. Carter. There's only $30,000 in this account. You're still short $8,000. He gritted his teeth and pleaded with me. Julia, didn't my parents give you $8,000 for the wedding jewelry and photos? Can you just pay the rest? I swear, after this is over, I'll pay you back. I scoffed. Too late. I told you last night we were breaking up. I wasn't joking. I already transferred all the money your parents gave me back to them. He went pale and instinctively looked at Chloe. Chloe, you were the one who damaged the dress. I'll pay for the majority of it. Can't you just cover the remaining $8,000? She went pale and forced a smile. Ethan, you know I live paycheck to paycheck. I barely make enough to cover my own expenses. You can check my account. I don't have $8,000. I don't even have $800. Without a second thought, he yelled at her. Then ask your parents for it. You were the one who insisted on trying on Julia's dress. Now you've ruined it. I've already agreed to pay $30,000 for you. You can't even cover the last 8. Her face flushed, and she shoved his hand away. Yes, I begged you to bring me here, but if you hadn't, how would I have ruined the dress? Seeing them turn on each other, a pack of dogs fighting over a bone, I sneered and walked away. He tried to follow me but was stopped by the manager and a few assistants. After all, $38,000 was not a small sum. If they let him go, who would they get the money from? After leaving the bridal shop, I went to the old street. My father's acupuncture and massage clinic had been there for over 30 years. All the neighbors knew me. When they saw me, they all smiled and asked when they would be getting wedding candy. In that moment, I suddenly remembered the first time I brought him to the old street. When he learned that both my parents had passed away, he had held me tightly. Julia, from now on, I am your family. My parents are your parents. That day, I had held his hand and introduced him to every neighbor on the street. They had all watched me grow up. Now, seeing me with such a gentle, considerate, and handsome boyfriend, they were all happy for me. A few of the old men who were friends with my father had even said that when we got married, they wanted an invitation. They wanted to see me get married on my father's behalf. The heartwarming scene felt like it was just yesterday, but I knew that we were over. The moment he had used my deceased parents to threaten me, any possibility between us was gone. As I walked into my father's clinic, I suddenly heard his parents' voices from outside the break room. Honey, are you really going to let our son marry that jinx of an orphan? That's why you women have long hair and short sights. What's wrong with being an orphan? An orphan daughter-in-law is easier to control, since she has no family. Once she marries into our family, everything her parents left her will be ours sooner or later. Besides, with a daughter-in-law who knows acupuncture and massage, when we get old and have aches and pains, we'll have a free nurse at home to give us treatments. You just wait and enjoy your good fortune. Hearing the loud laughter from the break room, I felt a chill run down my spine, and I couldn't stop trembling. So, it was all a lie. I had always thought his parents genuinely liked me, treated me like their own daughter. Even when Chloe had tried to stir up trouble several times, they had stood firmly by my side and even scolded him for me. Thinking back now, the reason they didn't want Chloe as their daughter-in-law was probably because she had both her parents and a large extended family, making her difficult to control. Unlike me, if he married me, Not only could he easily take over my family's assets, but because I was an orphan with no family to back me up, I would be completely devoted to his family. I secretly recorded their conversation and went downstairs to the front desk. Cancel Carter and Davis family cards. From now on, if they come for treatment, charge them the full price. After we got together, I heard his parents weren't in good health and needed regular acupuncture treatments. I had immediately gotten them 2 family cards for the clinic. Since the clinic was now a partnership between me and my senior brother, I had even loaded 10,000 into each card. I thought that would be enough for them for a long time, but when I cancelled the cards, the receptionist let out a sigh of relief and said apologetically, "It's a good thing you cancelled these cards. Mr. and Mrs. Carter have been bringing all their relatives here for treatments. The money you put in for them is almost gone." I laughed in disbelief. I wasn't even married into their family yet, and they were already treating me like a free blood bank. Knowing that they were both obsessed with their image, I leaned in and whispered a few words to the receptionist. A moment later, after their treatment, they went downstairs and, as usual, handed their family cards to the receptionist. The receptionist took the cards, pretended to swipe them, and then said with a troubled expression, "Mr. Carter, I'm sorry, but this card has an outstanding balance of over 9,500. If it's convenient, could you please settle the bill today?" He was stunned. "How is that possible? My daughter-in-law put 10,000 in this card." His wife was also agitated. "That's right. I even came and checked the balance. Both cards had 10,000. How could there be an outstanding balance?" The receptionist held back a laugh and pointed to the payment system. The junior owner did indeed deposit 20,000, but the last time the Commerce Bureau came for an inspection, they said that to prevent fraud, large deposits are no longer allowed. So the shop refunded all customers who had deposited more than 1,000. His face turned ashen. "Then why didn't you say so sooner?" His wife was also furious. If she had known they were spending their own money, why would she have invited so many people to the clinic for free treatments? The receptionist said with an innocent expression, "You two are not strangers. Our senior owner is the junior owner's senior brother. He heard that the junior owner is about to marry into your family. He thought you would all be one family soon. And the junior owner wouldn't just run off without paying, so he was too embarrassed to ask you to settle the bill." Their expressions were twisted. When they heard that the total outstanding balance for both cards was 18,700, they immediately called him. A moment later, he rushed over. When he heard his parents owed over 18,000 at the clinic, he almost fainted. "Dad, Mom, what kind of treatments did you get? Even if they stuck needles all over you, it wouldn't cost this much in half a year." They were both too proud to speak. Their faces flushed. He thought his parents had been scammed and threatened to call the police. They quickly stopped him and reluctantly explained that they thought there was so much money on the cards they would never run out. So they had brought all their relatives and all of his father's old friends to try it out. He gasped. His mother quickly grabbed his arm. "Ethan, isn't this Julia's shop? Call her right now and have her cancel the bill." His father also put on his father-in-law bears. "Ethan, Julia isn't trying to trick us out of money, is she?" His wife had a sudden realization and said through gritted teeth, "That must be it. She deliberately kept the refund a secret. Let us bring all our friends and family here, and then refuse to pay. That girl is too cunning. Ethan, you call Julia right now. Tell her if she doesn't take care of this bill, your father and I will not approve of this marriage." He opened his mouth, then said with a defeated expression, "It's too late. She already broke up with me." "What?" With a thud, his wife's eyes rolled back, and she fainted on the spot. That night, as I was packing my bags at the hotel, his calls came in, one after another. Frantically, I blocked him. A moment later, he sent me several voice messages through a mutual friend's social media. "Julia, why did you rent out the house? The clinic says my parents owe over 10,000. My mom fainted from the shock. Call the front desk right now and have them cancel the bill." About the wedding dress, I admit I was wrong. I apologize, but you can't just cancel the wedding without a word. "Julia, where are you? I'll come and find you. We need to talk." "Okay." I blocked that number too. He completely panicked and even went to the clinic to wait for me, but he was met by my senior brother and a few other apprentices, who gave him a good beating. "You think I don't know what you've been up to? Using the excuse of an ex. You were planning to marry my junior sister while still messing around with your ex. You wanted to have it both ways, didn't you? You thought that since our master and mistress are gone, and my junior sister has no family to rely on, you could just bully her. You're dreaming. Let me tell you, our master is gone, but we, her senior brothers and sisters, are all her family. Go back and tell your parents. If they don't pay up within 3 days, I'll buy a megaphone and go to your neighborhood and give your family some good publicity. 16. In the end, his family paid the clinic bill. They had no choice. They had been respected members of the community their whole lives and couldn't bear the shame. I heard that after settling the bill at the clinic, his father slapped him hard across the face. By then, I was already at the airport, escorted by my senior brothers and sisters. Julia, remember to let us know you've arrived safely. If you're short on money abroad, just give us a call. Remember, we are all your family. With tears in my eyes, I hugged each of them goodbye. Just as I was about to say something, a commotion erupted behind me. Julia, don't go. He stumbled towards me, his eyes red. Chloe followed behind him, her eyes filled with a mix of jealousy and provocation. Ethan, don't be like this. You and her have already broken up. Didn't you say so yourself? Adults should be decent. She wants to go abroad. You can't stop. Ah. He forcefully pushed her hand away and slapped her across the face. To hell with decency. My wife is about to leave me. What do I care about decency? Ignoring her, he strode towards me. Julia, you can't do this to me. You're going to break up with me just because I took a shower at her place. Do you know how much my parents are being laughed at by our relatives because you suddenly cancelled the wedding? Julia, stop it. Okay, come home with me, I promise. I'll keep my distance from her from now on. If you don't like her, I can cut off all ties with her right now. Ethan, how dare you? She shrieked, rushed to his side, grabbed his hand, and pressed it firmly against her stomach. Ethan, impregnant. The baby is yours. What? You, Chloe, when did we have a child? How did I not know? His face went pale. He snatched his hand back as if he had been burned, his eyes wide with suspicion as he looked at her stomach, as if it wasn't his child, but some kind of monster. She looked at him with tears in her eyes. It was that night, when you and her had a fight. You were drunk. You said you regretted it, that she was too dramatic, that you still liked me more. Enough, he roared, his expression panicked as he looked at me. Julia, don't listen to her. I can explain. I pointed to her stomach. Explain what? Explain how you were planning to marry me while sleeping with your ex and making a baby. His lips trembled. That night. It was an accident. Yes, an accident. This child should never have happened. Julia, just give me one more chance. I'll make her get rid of the baby right now. Her eyes widened, and she screamed. Ethan, you dare. Let me tell you, my parents already know I'm pregnant. If you dare to force me to have an abortion, my parents, and my uncles and aunts, they will not let you go. Seeing them turn on each other, I felt a surge of satisfaction. The reason his parents had so strongly opposed them getting together was because her family was notoriously difficult, especially her father and uncle, who had a history of being involved with gangs. If he had really married her, his family would have never had a moment's peace. Now that she was pregnant with his child, and with her family's aggressive nature, he had no choice but to marry her. I glanced at the time, quickly said goodbye to my senior brothers and sisters, and walked towards the boarding gate. Behind me, he still tried to rush over and grab me but was held back by her. In the struggle, he forcefully pushed her to the ground. As I walked through the boarding gate, I thought I heard her scream. The next time I heard news of him, the plane had already landed in Copenhagen. My mentor greeted me with a bouquet of flowers and a big, warm hug. On the way to her house, I turned on my phone and was immediately overwhelmed by a flood of missed calls and messages. I deliberately avoided the unknown numbers and clicked on the video my senior brother had sent me. That's when I found out what had happened. Apparently, that day at the airport, in his attempt to chase after me, he had forcefully pushed her to the ground. She had a miscarriage on the spot and was rushed to the hospital. Her family had heard the news and had beaten him to a pulp. To save their son's life, his parents had practically knelt before her family, swearing that he would marry her. Only then did her family agree not to call the police. I heard that the moment she was discharged from the hospital, her family had dragged him to the city hall to get a marriage license. But none of that had anything to do with me anymore. In recent years, traditional Chinese medicine, like acupuncture and massage, had become very popular abroad. My mentor had opened 8 clinics. I had been helping out at my father's clinic since I was a child, so I knew the business inside and out. Not long after I arrived, the new clinic I took over became a popular spot for local influencers. My family's unique techniques not only attracted many foreigners but also many Chinese people who would drive from faraway cities just for a treatment. 2 years later, I officially became my mentor's partner and owned 3 clinics. Just then, news came that the old street was going to be demolished. I heard that my father's clinic was also in the demolition zone. My mentor and I were both a little sad, so we decided to go back and see it one last time. I never expected to run into him and her on the old street again. Apparently, after hearing about the demolition, he was convinced I would come back and had been waiting for me at the clinic every day. She was clinging to his arm, her voice so shrill you could hear it from across the street. Ethan, you and Julia broke up a long time ago. You're my husband now. What are you doing here looking for her? He sneered. What am I doing? Didn't you say so yourself? You can still be friends for life after a breakup. Julia's family clinic is about to be demolished. She's definitely coming back. As a friend, what's wrong with me checking in on her? Checking in? I think you're hoping to get a divorce from me and get back with her, aren't you? She said, her eyes red with anger. His face was ashen. He forcefully pushed her hand away. So what if I am? If it wasn't for you, Julia and I would have been married by now. We might even have children. She stumbled, her eyes wide with disbelief. You have the nerve to talk about children. If it wasn't for you and that bitch Julia, how would my baby be gone? It's better that it's gone. If it wasn't for that bastard, why would Julia have left me? He grabbed her by the throat and roared. If you hadn't tricked me and gotten pregnant with that bastard, Julia and I would never have broken up. She gritted her teeth in hatred. Ethan, you dare to call our child a bastard? He suddenly laughed. Chloe, don't act so innocent. When you slept with me, Julia and I were about to get married. You're a homewrecker. You got pregnant with another woman's fiancé's child. What is it if not a bastard? Her face went pale. She stumbled backward, her eyes fixed on him. She suddenly burst into laughter. Ha ha ha, Ethan. So now you're pinning all the blame on me. I'm not innocent. But are you? You knew you were about to marry your girlfriend, but you still came to my house, went out with me, drank with me, and even showered and spent the night at my place. Ethan, if you hadn't given me opportunities time and time again to get between you and Julia, do you think that bastard you're talking about would have even existed? Shut up, he roared, lunging at her, his hands wrapping around her neck. In the chaos, a series of piercing screams erupted from the crowd. Murder. Someone's been murdered. After a moment of chaos, the police cars arrived with their sirens wailing. Several officers swarmed in and pinned her to the ground. He was convulsing, lying on the old, broken tiles of the street, a large pool of blood spreading beneath him. That night, I saw the news on the local headlines. He was dead. She had stabbed him over a dozen times. The fatal wound had pierced his main artery, and he had died on the spot. I heard that to get her a lighter sentence. Her family had hired a bunch of thugs to harass his parents, trying to force them to sign a letter of forgiveness, but he was their only son. For the 2 years of their marriage, he had refused to be intimate with her, and they had never had children. She had killed their only son. They hated her to the core and refused to sign. In the end, she was sentenced to death with a 2-year reprieve. The day the verdict was announced, his parents fell from the 4th floor. One was left a paraplegic, the other in a vegetative state. They lived in an old building. The security cameras had been broken for a long time. No one knew how they had fallen from their balcony. The case became a mystery. By the time I learned all of this, I had already taken the demolition compensation money and boarded a plane out of the country again. As the plane flew over the old city, the lights below were like a million stars. If she hadn't interfered, perhaps, at this moment, he and I would have been one of those lights. Thankfully, there are no what-ifs. Leaving the past behind, my own brilliant life was just beginning.